Hi, I'm Marika Knight, and I'm the founding director of Cool Karma Collected, and we're a modern school for mindfulness. And we're all about bringing about greater health through stress reduction and managing our modern minds, which can definitely get in the way of our physical and mental health at times. And if you're listening to this track, you're part of the Heart Foundation's wonderful walking initiative. And this meditation is specifically for you to use out on a walk. The last audio track was all about the instructions, and if you want to just have an instruction and then go out walking with those instructions, then that's great. But this one is designed for us to actually listen to, and there will be moments of silence so that you can really tune in. But I hope that my voice guiding you on this walk will give you some inspiration for mindful walking. So I assume that when you're listening to this track, you actually are already outside in nature. And so the first thing I would suggest as we're walking is to just slow the pace slightly. You might notice when you get out on a walk that there is that hastiness, and sometimes we can get even more hasty when we're thinking about all the thousands of things we have to get done when we get home. And so the first thing I want you to start to consider is how you can slow, how you can actually remind yourself that this is time out just for you, that this is a pause in your day to take care of your mental and physical health. And so sometimes it's great to go fast, but other times it can be just as nourishing and good for your body to take it a bit slower. So that's our first task, is can we just slow it down to a pace where we can really start to take things in. And then the second thing I'd like you to start to do is just focus in on your breathing. So you might just take a few really deep conscious breaths. Breathing in, feeling if you can fill your lungs, fill your chest, fill your belly. And even just sighing out. It's so nice to be outdoors, so it can feel nice to just take a few lovely deep breaths in and big sighs out. Just really allowing yourself this opportunity to transition between what you've just been doing in your day-to-day life and what you're choosing to do now while you're out walking. And so we will return to the breath probably at some point, but the next invitation is to start to open your eyes to all the things that you can see. So just starting to really take in the different colours of green that you can see, the different textures of barks and of trees or of the grass. It's really opening up to the patterns of clouds in the sky moving through. Just aware of any life forms that you can see, tiny insects, birds, animals. And just really being open, just as you would when you're, say, traveling overseas and you're so awake to all of the different things that you've seen because it's so new. Can we just bring this lens or adopt this lens of beginner's mind right in this moment and bring this element of curiosity to exactly what we're seeing right now? The interesting thing as we do this, the brain starts to shift because the brain can't literally be curious and worried at the same time. So when we open to just how wondrous nature can be, we are actually automatically starting to lessen that kind of worrying tendency that sometimes we can get into when we're alone with our thoughts walking. So just noticing all that can be noticed. You can, if you're walking around the streets, it might also be taking in different houses, the textures of brick or wood, or how the houses are built. Just anything that can be experienced. And at the same time, we're trying to awaken all five senses. There's that saying that's always, been around, coming to our senses. Well, there's a real thing in coming to our senses that alleviates a lot of the stress in our life if we come to our senses. So we start with sight, and now we start to open up to all of the different things that we can hear. So obviously you can hear my voice, but there's, I'm sure, many other things that can be heard right in this moment. So let's just take a moment now to just listen. It might be that you can hear traffic, the sound of your feet hitting the pavement or the grass. You might hear other people talking, lawnmowers. And the thing with hearing in this way is we want almost our hearing to be like sonar, that it kind of notices, picks up different sounds, but doesn't get too fixated on any one, just notices and then they pass. It might be that you hear the beautiful bird song and then you move on to just hearing the sound of your feet, and then maybe you hear the sound of a car just moving through, or you hear a plane in the distance. So all these things we're just really awakening our senses to. So we've got the sights that we're seeing, the sounds that we're hearing, and then we want to evoke senses. So that's touch, but it's also just feeling the air on the exposed parts of skin. So you might feel the freshness of the air, or the warmth of the sun, or the movement of wind against your face or your hands, the sense of coolness at your fingers. So just really starting to be alive to anything that you can feel when you're walking. The other things that you can feel is perhaps feeling the feet pressing into the ground and lifting again, feeling that kind of movement in the sense of the feet steady on the ground and then lifting, and really tuning into what that sensation is like. Another thing that you might feel is how the body and the mechanics of the body are working as you walk. It's quite remarkable, this walking. I have a toddler and I watch him walk, and it's a very laborious and deliberate process, and yet we get to our age and we can just walk so fluidly. But there's so many different things involved in this walking. So just really tuning into that maybe, and the sensations there. Another thing you might feel is your heartbeat, or that rising in activity, and feeling the warmth of your skin or the beating of your heart, moisture on your skin. So there's lots of things in this moment that we can be really feeling and sensing. And there's a really wonderful benefit to tuning into our body. When we tune into how our body's actually feeling, we can start to consciously make decisions about what we need to do next to look after it. So it's a great practice in itself that we just tune in and notice, oh, is my heart getting a bit high? Can I reduce it? Or maybe I need to increase my heart a little bit. So we've got sights that we're looking at, we've got the sounds, we've got the feelings in our body. All of these things that can be experienced right now. And the next thing could be smells. So different scents in the air as the wind carries through. You might smell blossoms or eucalyptus if you're, in those parts of the country, or the sea air, country air. Maybe it's pollution, maybe it's different smells of the city. Just noticing what can be experienced in that part of our senses as well. So we're really walking with this sense of opening up the senses, of continuing in every step to just keep noticing what's here. So I'm going to leave you for a few minutes now in your own to just explore. There's this wonderful Native American story or poem that was translated by David Wagner. And it kind of refers to this idea that we can use nature as a way to kind of return to the present moment. That sometimes when we get lost or caught up in our thoughts, that nature is here to remind us how to come home. And I just want to read this poem for you now. It's called Lost. Stand still. The trees ahead and the bushes beside you, they are not lost. Wherever you are is called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger, must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answers. I have made this place around you. If you leave it, you may come back again, simply saying here. No two trees are the same to a raven. No two branches are the same to a wren. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you surely may be lost yourself. Stand still. The forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. I love this idea that we can find some of that ease and peace of mind through just reflecting in nature or opening up to nature. And, what a wonderful tale from Native American elders who, really honoured and used the nature as medicine for their health and well-being. So just continuing on your way, contemplating this idea that there are no two branches that are the same, that there's no two trees the same, no two leaves the same. That really what we are exploring is just such a vast and miraculous kind of environment wherever we are. Along with this idea of being curious, there is also this idea of, feeling deep gratitude. And gratitude is another one of those wonderful mindsets or attitudes that can instantly change the way we're feeling and move us away from patterns of worry or rumination or feeling uncertain about our future. If we can just feel into this sense of gratefulness for the nature around us, for the ability to be out walking at all, to feel grateful for the 2 feet that we stand on and the health of our heart and the health of our bodies and our minds. So as you walk, being curious to nature and being grateful for all that is here, both physically within, but also externally. Every moment, every step, what can be seen, what can be experienced, what can be felt. Always this opportunity to return to this place of mindful awareness And when the mind wanders, don't get frustrated, or if you notice that frustration, just simply remind yourself that that's what our minds are designed to do. But with a gentle kindness, but firmness, just returning back and again opening up to nature or feeling the feet landing on the pavement. Just returning or coming to our senses again and again. Remembering it's not about achieving any state or altering anything. It's simply a different way of working or a different way of moving into our day-to-day activities. And as we start to move towards the end of this guided practice, I would invite you to start to move back to the breath. And maybe even seeing if you can walk in tune with your breath. Just breathing in and breathing out and just feeling the rhythm of the breath, just like the rhythm of your steps or your walking. Seeing if you can deepen your breath, lengthen the exhalation, breathing in and breathing out. Just really keeping your attention on this deep, full experiencing of each breath, of feeling the aliveness and the freshness of air entering into the body and the oxygen and all that happens as we breathe deeply. And also as we focus on our exhalation, which again, as I've mentioned, is such a wonderful thing to soothe our very stressed out nervous systems that just are stressed out as a result of, the world we live, the constant stimulation of, technology and worries and, the current circumstances in the world. So every time we can, when we're out walking, just bringing some of that attention to our breath and just really consciously choosing to focus on this exhaling, this sighing out, just giving yourself a real opportunity for reset, so that not only are we walking for our physical health, our heart health, but we're also walking with this beautiful intention of giving our minds a bit of a break and finding a little bit of a reset in our day-to-day lives to really experience just living in this moment-to-moment way and just noticing how that sets us up for the rest of the day and how it makes us feel in the moment when we're doing it. So you might continue on now with your walk and keep going with these instructions, or you might choose to end the meditation now and just move about your daily doings, and any way is fine. All I would say is I invite you to try this again whenever you can, and hopefully you'll very quickly start to see the beautiful benefits of walking meditations and mindfully walking. So again, thank you for joining me, and well done for giving this a go. And I truly hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.